Hello and welcome back to GrindCraft. Here we are once again in the deep slate quarry that I've been working on. I wanted to record an update for you guys because it's been a little while and I've obviously made some progress. So let's just go through really quickly. I don't think this is going to be a super long video, but I didn't want to leave you all in the dark for too long. So the first thing to note here is that, yes, the deep slate quarry is deeper than it used to be. We are at minus 15. We're about halfway done with, minus 13. The last update video, the quarry was at minus 3, like if I was stood on the top layer. So we've made a pretty good amount of progress, I'd say. We've gotten down about 10 meters. I think doing some quick math, I figured that I was about 20 blocks down, 20 meters down into this quarry from the very top there where that glass layer is. So we're about a third of the way, maybe a little bit under a third of the way to the bottom of the deep slate quarry. So we're making progress there. And then I also have been mentioning that during my deep slate quarrying, I'm also working on this stone quarry. So I've set up this beacon, and it's doing its job. I'm able to dig out stone really quickly here, and I don't need to use Super Breaker for this. And this quarry, when we last spoke, I had just started this, and it was at about y equals 89. And now we're down to 57. So obviously this is a lot faster of a process because it's all instant mine. So I can do this very, very quickly. And also I think this is a smaller area than what is being done down there. So this is all very, very quick and very easy to do. So that is the second update there. There's not really a whole lot of other updates about automation or the sorter. The sorter is doing its job, but it hasn't. Oops. The sorter is doing its job, but it has not changed very much. Now, I probably should change the sorter because right now this chest is getting real clogged up, especially with stuff like stone ores. So you can see there's 2 stacks of iron ore there at the very least. In fact, yeah, 2 stacks. And then there is a bunch of coal ore that is pretty frequently in here as well. Some gold ore even that we're starting to get, and redstone ore. So we've got a lot that we should probably start taking out of this and putting into a sorter system. I think I'm not done with my sort of bulk sorters because I think what I want to do is have the sorter modules on this sort of end of the sorter be the bulk stuff, the stuff that I get a lot of very frequently. And then I think I want to add more sorter modules that are less frequent, stuff like iron ore, coal ore, redstone ore, gold ore, and put those into chests rather than automatically load them into shulker boxes, because as much as I love the shulker box loaders, I'm not going to get enough of those things to frequently have a lot of shulker boxes that I need to deal with. And I also don't want to lose those items. And sometimes, very rarely, but sometimes I think I've noticed that these shulker loaders, they'll break the shulker box and the shulker box will get lost. And I don't want that to happen with like diamond ore. I don't want to lose 27 stacks of diamond ore. So I think having a sorter that just outputs into chests is probably the way that I will go for some of those items. So that's a little update there. Real quick, I was going to try to get in there, but real quick, just to come down here to the bedrock breaking area, I want to note that in the last update, I asked for your opinion on bedrock breaking and whether it would be okay, basically, for me to use the fill command to remove this bedrock. So I've obviously removed everything from in between the bedrock, and obviously I can break the bedrock without using the fill command, but I don't know, I've held myself back because I thought that it would be sort of outside of the spirit of the world. Like, the purpose of this world is to be grindy and to remove everything. And if I use the fill command, then I would, somehow, I felt like I would be betraying the nature of the world. There were a lot of very supportive comments that said, hey, you could probably just do that and nobody would care. Like, hey, it's a sandbox game. Play the game how you want to play it. And that led me to think a lot about how I don't really enjoy doing all this bedrock breaking. Like, it was fun for a little while, but after you've done 2 chunks fully and started in on 2 more, like, I've done so much bedrock breaking, and I don't think I need to anymore. So I'm very much considering using the fill command. There are 2 things about that. First, there was a comment that mentioned 3-way bedrock breaking machines, that I could potentially use some of those to automatically break bedrock in a given area. And I think it's possible that I'll look into that and think about using it for like this area and try to set it so it just breaks the top 4 layers, and see if I can kind of rein it in a reasonable way. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to, but I'll try. I'll see if I can do that. If I can, then that's certainly a viable option, and I'll consider that as an option. But if I decide that that's not viable, if I decide that I need a different system, probably the way that I'm going to do it is the fill command, and I'm going to wait until 121 comes out. And there's a good reason for that. All this bedrock breaking talk is largely because I want my final sort of base and system, like storage system, to be at the bottom of this quarry. I want it to be basically on the bottom layer of bedrock. So I want to have all of my chests that have all of my items down at that bottom layer of bedrock. The problem is, in 121, the crafter's going to come out, right? And I kind of want to have a bunch of auto crafting systems, and I don't want to have to move everything when I put down this final system. So I think that I have to wait until the crafter comes out and I can start building auto crafting systems for some of these items that I want to store in my base, in my like main storage system. And I don't want to have to redo everything once I've got it in place. So I'm going to wait until the crafter comes out, and then we will start with, you know, some of the bulk storage, and then we'll start with some of the auto crafting modules that go into the final storage system, the final sorter system. But we are not there yet. Obviously, the crafter does not exist in 120, which is, I'm on 122. So we got to wait until 1.21 comes out, and we aren't there yet. So that's the update on the bedrock breaking. One final thing before we hop into the nether. I wanted to mention, this is a big milestone. I hit excavation 500, I think like a day or 2 ago. We've been getting a lot of excavation because I was clearing out dirt from the stone, or the stone quarry. And that has kind of dried up now, because you can see I'm below sea level, so I'm not going to get a whole lot of dirt and gravel from that area. Certainly not much more than I'd get from a deep slate quarry, but I have been getting a fair amount of excavation, and that has updated. And then, just to let you know, I'm 4 levels away from level 2000 mining. That doesn't give me anything, so it's not like it's super exciting, a super exciting update, because level 2000 mining isn't going to give me any benefits. But I just wanted to let you know, just because, like, I think the last time we spoke, I was probably at 1900 or something, just so you know how much work I'm doing in this world right now. Like, I am doing a lot of mining, so it doesn't necessarily look like I made a lot of progress. Like, this isn't done, that's not done, but it's still it's a lot of work. So just wanted to let you know that. So let's hop into the nether here. So the last time we spoke, I think even in the world tour video, which some of you may have seen, oh geez, I gotta fix that later. We were talking about this nether quarry, and specifically me trying to get this gravel filled in this lava lake, because I wanted to continue to make progress in the nether quarry. And you might have seen just now that, in fact, I have made progress in the nether quarry. There's a whole chunk missing here, cleared down to bedrock in my usual fashion from the overworld. This is different from what I used to do, which is just get down to the top layer of bedrock and then fill it in with glass. Now I'm doing the same thing as the overworld, so it's easier to clear out later if I wanted to do a 3-way bedrock breaking machine in here, for example, or if I wanted to do a fill command here to fill it with basalt or netherrack or whatever. I obviously haven't decided about the nether yet. I'm focusing on the overworld for that, but and then here we've got the second chunk that I'm almost done with. This first row of chunks is partial, so if we do the chunk boundaries here, there's 3 blocks here that I've already broken of these chunks, and then I'm just kind of finishing them out. So they are slightly smaller than a normal chunk will be, but nevertheless, this is a pretty big accomplishment, and I'm probably going to finish the rest of this after I'm done recording this video, because I'm very much enjoying digging in the Nether right now, and I think I'd like to continue it. The one downside from working in the Nether is that the storage is over here. I might move a temporary storage of shulker boxes over to that area, because it will reduce the amount of magma cubes that spawn while I'm trying to sort out the quarry outputs. But I've already had to clear these shulker boxes out once, and I think I'm almost done with the first row of these already, so I might even need more shulker boxes than I'm currently using. Or at the very least a different amount, because this is 32, and I think I'd rather have a 3x9, so it's 27. Or even potentially 2 banks of 3x9, so it's 27 each, and then I can, when one gets filled up, I can clear them all out and bring them to the overworld to be placed in the temporary storage, which is where I'm putting all of my nether quarry outputs right now. Real quick, the last thing I want to note here and show you is something that I showed in the world tour video, but if you didn't watch that because you're like, I know what's going on in GrindCraft, well, here it is in an update video, because this has changed. So just had to eat that. Oh, there we go. So this is the way to the end portal, or the stronghold, and we just hop up to the end portal here. So if we come over here, there is, I will show this again on camera just because, so I'd forgotten that there was an ender farm over here, but I decided on this direction and I'm sticking with it. Over here I've got something that looks a little bit familiar. Basically this is a recreation of the storage that I used to do in the overworld for large amounts of items. And pretty much what I'm doing here is every time I get those sorter modules filled up with a bunch of shulker boxes, like if I notice that there's more than 27 shulker boxes in a sorter module, I'll bring them over here and I'll empty them all into barrels. And the reason I'm doing this is kind of multifold. The first reason is this is the end. You know, there's nothing here. I don't have to clear a whole bunch of crap out in order to do storage here. I can just come over here, build a glass platform. It takes, 16 by 16, 256 glass blocks, and then I have a full chunk that I can use for storage for a particular item. I've already done a few chunks, and there's more to go there, and I do have shulker boxes over here in that barrel that have a bunch of glass in them, so I can make more storage chunks here. But the second reason is my shulker farm is broken. Now, it seems to me that I can rebuild, or I can build a new shulker farm that would work in this version, and I might do something like that in the future. I saw that there was a Hermitcraft video recently that somebody had a shulker farm in the nether, or not in the nether, in the end. So I don't want to transport shulkers to the overworld. That seems like a pain, and it's not worth it right now. Maybe once we get an autocrafter set up for shulker boxes, maybe then I will consider making a shulker farm that lives in the overworld, that is chunk loaded, that actively works. But right now, I don't see the benefit. So I am currently working with a finite number of shulker boxes, and as much as that finite number is very large right now, I don't want to run up against problems. So I'm trying to minimize the number of permanently used shulker boxes that I have in my world. So these barrels are not shulker boxes. They don't require shulker shells to make. They only require wood. And so I'm using this as storage for deep slate, and I've started using it as storage for stone. And all of this will expand as we go. It's not necessarily the final form. I might change the way that some of this is formatted or built or whatever. And I think another benefit of this is, in the very unlikely event that I completely fill up, the end, or this chunk with deep slate, I can just expand to the next chunk over and make this, my deep slate sort of row. Same with stone, same with everything. Now, I don't foresee that happening in the near future. Obviously, that would take, let's see, these are 12 by 12. So 12 by 12 times something like 300. I don't think I'm going to have that much deep slate anytime soon. Not impossible, but I think that is very, very unlikely. It's basically 12 by 12 times 300 chunks that I'd have to clear out of deep slate, right? Wait, no, that's not right. I basically have to clear out... I can't do math right now. Anyways, somebody can do the math for me. I'm not going to do it off the top of my head because I'm clearly not able to do so right now. But the point is, it would take a very long time to completely fill out this chunk with deep slate, and I'm not worried about it at the moment. And then possibly if we do get an autocrafter and a shulker farm and some kind of wood farm working so that I never have to worry about crafting a shulker box myself ever again, maybe then we can just focus on the compressed storage in the overworld. But for right now, this seems to be what is working. And this is something that has always appealed to me anyways, this manual storage, this manual sorting of bulk items. Like, I always wanted to have something like this in the world. So ultimately, I don't think it's something I'm going to change, but maybe it's something that I can do less frequently as I go forward, depending on how I can get my shulker farm to work in the overworld. But that's something for me to consider another day. Now, I think that's everything. I'm just going to check my list here really quickly. No, I think I've talked about everything. Like I said, this is a relatively shorter video, but I did want to come and give you all an update on what I've been working on and what I have discovered here and there. Actually, come to think of it, one last thing. I did find another zombie spawner as I was clearing this out. It had already been discovered earlier, but I have begun digging out around it. So this is yet another spawner that we have in our world. There is one, one right here. I think there's one. This is a skeleton spawner. This is the skeleton spawner that I used very early on when I needed XP and I didn't have a better source. This is a spider spawner that I haven't really done anything with yet, and I probably never will. I think there's a zombie spawner, right here. So there's a zombie spawner there. I don't think there was any spawners. Oh, here's one. I think this is a zombie spawner. No, it's a spider spawner. Interesting. But I think there's been a very limited amount of spawners sort of in other areas. Don't remember seeing any over here. No. And I don't think there are any in this area. No. So yeah, it's relatively limited, but I do seem so it's big news when I found a new one. And yeah, I have over in the new stone quarry, so that's cool. But yeah, I think that's pretty much everything from GrindCraft today. I want to thank you all again for watching the world tour video. That one, I think at this point is sitting at about 500 views. So we're doing a good job on that one. I really appreciate that. Keep the views coming, keep the likes coming, and keep the comments coming. I really enjoy hearing that you are liking the videos and like what was your favorite part and all that. I do enjoy all of the suggestions, and like I said, like the three-way bedrock breaking machine, I think is an interesting suggestion. It's something that I will definitely be considering. And any other suggestions that you have about the world, I am absolutely happy to hear. So throw them in the comments for sure. And then in my usual verbiage, do all the social media things, like, comment, subscribe, share. Do all the things that you normally do for a YouTube video that you enjoy, assuming that you do indeed enjoy this video, despite the fact that I can't control my camera, so that's weird. And yeah, I think upcoming videos, I have been considering sort of experimenting with different formats of videos. I've found that I am not good at editing, and it is definitely not something that I enjoy, so I'm probably not going to do a lot of edited videos. But I might do like an unedited video like I did with the fishing video, but possibly with commentary, just like me kind of doing my normal mining thing for like, I don't know, 20 minutes. You know, that's 2 Minecraft days, like it's no big deal. And that'll give you guys an idea of like what it actually looks like, which I think is something that's missing from my current content. And that's Excuse me, I'm getting the sniffles. I think that's potentially a good idea. The other thing, and I might do that with like multiple different things, like do that in the overworld, do that in the nether, do show sort of a mass transport of like deep slate out to the end, maybe. That might be one of the least interesting video ideas that anybody has ever had ever, but you know, we can try. Even wood cutting, like we've got a bunch of forests to clear out. If we look at the map here, there's still a little bit of trees here that I need to clear out before we can do this quarry. Oh, actually, it looks like it's pretty much clear. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, it is actually pretty much clear. But there's still plenty of deforestation to do if we want to expand the quarries out another layer. So that's something that we might do on stream. And then if you did enjoy the fishing video, I could do that, but with commentary perhaps. I kind of did that as almost as a joke, like an in-joke, because I know that Grian has been doing has been making a meme out of his attempts to be the fisherman on the Hermitcraft server. So I was like, oh, fishing content's hot right now. Let's do a fishing video. But I do have my spot for fishing over here, and maybe I could make a better spot and do a fishing video, because I know I did that back on MC Legends. I did a bunch of streams of me trying to get level 1000 fishing. And maybe that's something that's interesting to folks, but I don't know. I have no idea off the top of my head. So let me know if you have any particular ideas that you'd like to see me do when it comes to like just kind of a gameplay video. Just like 20 minutes of me doing X. You know, whether that's fishing, whether that's mining, whether that's wood cutting, whether that's trying to do manual smelting. This is not something that would be super exciting, but it's definitely something that I'd like to do at some point, because I need to get that repair skill up. Anyways, let me know what you think. And I think with that, yeah, I've already kind of done the outro and then I started rambling, so I will not bore you with more outro. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye!